What's going on, guys? Brian here from Sinister Gaming. Just wanted to showcase my Labyrinth deck that I got first place with, and this is a post-maze list featuring Transaction Rollback. It's pretty optimized, not too many techs I think, but maybe there's some little adjustments that people might not see initially. So at least from what I've seen, people have been building the deck kind of weirdly. So this is kind of like my take on it, or at least what I think is like a really optimized list. And it's been performing pretty well, and it's kind of approaching the way that this list looks post Phantom 2. So I just want to draw like really good cards in general. I don't want to brick at all, and especially be able to keep up with decks that this deck might struggle against in the future. But let's just get straight into it. The cards that need the least explanation are going to be these three, the 3 level 8s. Yeah, nothing much there. Some people have been dropping Lady to 1, but you can't OTK as much if you're only playing 1. We're only on 1 Butler. The reason we're on 1 Butler is because we are on 3 Transaction Rollback, and Transaction Rollback is just a very high ceiling, well, not even high ceiling, it just gives you so much insurance and follow-up and OTK potential, and you can actually access your extra deck much more easily with Transaction Rollback 2 if you're going first. So this card isn't as important. We opted in to play another Labyrinth card that I'm going to showcase very soon. So just 1 Butler, and then I'm still always rocking the same lineup of 3-3-2. I feel like it's the ratio that works for me the most. 3-3-3 is too much, especially with Transaction Rollback, and just assuming this is going to resolve is just not a good mindset to me. I don't know, I feel like not being able to play through a singular hand trap's how you're going to lose most of the game. So if you're just relying on this to win, it's just kind of bad. So with Transaction Rollback, you can rely on Coup Clock is less impactful, because you can discard a trap instead of this off of furniture. At least when you're able to like follow up on a play. And then for our normal summons, we still have the 3 Ariana. We have our new addition, which is the Ariane, which is honestly, it's extremely broken with the Transaction Rollback. The way that I play this card, I've been trying to pretty much survive on my first turn, or at least like when my opponent's turn after I've already set up, if I can't set up like anything from the extra deck. And I just set up I have Transaction Rollback set off of Lady, and this would send this on my turn 2, so on the next turn after I survive, because you can just send Transaction, just help you OTK, and then this is going to give you a body. So essentially you're getting 2 bodies off of this plus a draw, and this can play around certain interactions. Like as an example, if you leave this on your board and you start it on your turn, you have like Lovely in this, and your opponent goes SP Little Knight, banish your Lovely. For 1, you're not going to die, so that's going to fulfill the condition I just mentioned, that you'll be able to play with Transaction Rollback, setting it off a Lady on your turn. And then number 2, you can save your Big Welcome for bouncing back your own cards for the same reason. You're not going to die, because a lot of people really gravitate towards SP Little Knight, banish Lovely, because that's almost game 90% of the time if that happens, if you're behind. So you can, if you can afford to do it, you can banish Big Welcome, bouncing your Lovely to your hand, and then this would trigger to draw 1, then you just special it back to your side of the field. So it's super broken. And of course it summons Ariana, or pretty much any furniture piece you want from the deck. So it helps you go into extra deck plays and rank 4 plays, which are new additions. And then I'm playing 3 Transaction Rollback. It's just going to the traps. It's basically just another copy of each of these welcomes. Some people were playing the 3 Welcome Labyrinth before, but we're definitely dropping the 2 since we're only on 1 Arias. And honestly, in OCG, this is played at 1 sometimes, and you could almost consider doing that, but I just don't want to. I just want to play consistently, and just especially this is really good for Ghost Bell. Playing around Ghost Bell when you go chain link 2, 3, and this is the highest number on the chain link when you're getting like your recursion back, so you prevent yourself from getting Ghost Belled. And yeah, Transaction Rollback, paying half your life points doesn't really mean anything, because you're probably just gonna die anyway if you're not able to play at all. So this gives you a fighting chance, insurance, extensions, pretty much everything you wanted in a card for Labyrinth. But I will say I do side out 1 to 2 when I go second. So, but going first, like, still good at 3. So those are the welcomes and the transactions, and then for the hand traps, I will go into the other traps and the rest of the decks in, but just to go over the hand traps real quick. So we're on the 3-3-3. This hasn't changed too much. Of course, the furniture pitch with Nib is still gonna be good. Nibiru is gonna be strong in Phantom format, and it's pretty decent right now. But definitely Ash and Imperm are really solid right now. In the future, might play Droll or Veiler or something like that, but so far these 9 are working out pretty well, and plus the furnitures and transaction could kind of like facilitate you into an optional interruption, so it's kind of like more hand traps that you have in your deck. And then for the spells, it's just 3 extra and a call by. I am adding call by into the deck. If you notice, I don't have Labyrinth. It is in the list, it's in the side. Like I said, I just don't want to brick on anything. And then the mirror is slightly less represented, I feel like, right now. People just, maybe in higher level events, but I just don't really expect to play too many. Lab isn't like the 100% the best pick right now until like a Fire King matchup if your locals is like full of Fire King decks. But I don't really miss it, honestly. Transaction Rollback just lets you use your extra deck, and you don't have to, rely on like that popping factor. But I do side it when I go first in slower matchups, where I'm not just gonna get Harpy's Feather Dusted or something. And it kind of combos with another card in the extra deck. And then lastly, the 3 normal traps. The card that could be cut between these is, well, probably these 2. You could switch them over, and then in Phantom, I think I dropped this to a Rumble. Yeah, Terrors, I didn't even use it at all in the tourney, but Ice Dragon's Prison is pretty nice, and it helps you go for games sometimes too. And then, Cannon's just probably the best normal trap in this deck. It's not like a Labyrinth card. For the extra deck, I have my Link ones, the Anima and the Link Karibo. There's argument to play Clara and Rushka, but honestly hasn't come up for me yet. I'd rather just, anytime I have like a 4 body, I feel like I'm able to extend into like a Chaos Angel instead of making an SP. And then from there you can go Muckracker, so you can get a double banish instead of just banishing 1. I mean, you do get the interruption of SP, but I feel like just always when I have that scenario, I'm gonna be able to extend, and it has like never come up at all in testing. And yeah, just be aware that you can't summon these if you activate regular welcome, which Transaction Rollback, like the way the new deck or the new build works is you're just gonna kind of keep looping big welcome to kind of play. So you're never really gonna be locked out of your extra deck. So, and then we have 2 SPs just in case we banish 1 off Prosp. And then we have the Dark Charmer, of course, for SP Little Knight and stuff like that. And then 3 Muckracker. You could probably drop 1 now if you need the space, but it's still pretty good to have in your extra deck. And then we have 3 Typhon. There's nothing different there. Same thing. This is like one of the best cards to go second with in Labyrinth, just because it's Fiend, it's free body, and you can just summon it after your Ariana gets impermed or something, or your Lady summons from hand. So pretty flexible card in this deck. And then we have a couple new additions since we have the Ariane in our main deck. and that's 2 rank 4s. We have Baguska and Dweller. So the Baguska, it combos actually with part of the side deck combo just with Labyrinth, because if you activate a normal trap, this is a fiend. So if they out this or destroy it by a card effect or something, it's in your grave, then you can actually just reborn this off of this. It will just die during the standby because it can't pay its maintenance cost. So that's kind of cool. And that works in like combination with some other side deck cards that makes for a really annoying game state that I'll be showcasing in a sec. But anyways, yeah, you kind of want to go for Baguska or Dweller on your turn 1 if you're able to push through with REN and Transaction Rollback. Or like a Ku Clock combo with REN and Furniture with Transaction Rollback. I know it's like a 3-card combo, but I mean, it's gonna come up, it's just the way it is. And you might as well make the best of your opening hand. So this kind of goes in pretty hard, and then of course Dweller is really good in like a Fire King matchup and a lot of other miscellaneous matchups that Labyrinth can particularly struggle against. So these are both really nice additions. And then lastly, we just have the 2 Chaos Angel. That's not really going to change unless I get a 3rd one, but I think 2 is fine. I've been getting away with 2 for a while. And then for the side deck, so like I showcased earlier, we have the Labyrinth. Labyrinth is mainly for slower matchups, and then it does fare nicely with Anti-Spell. What I mean by it does fare nicely is in the sense that this card just becomes completely useless when your opponent activates Harpies or Lightning Storm on you. So the fact that you can use this, and even Cosmic Cyclone, so if you can just bait out 1 back row or just prevent them from straight up using it, this card becomes better. But yeah, I would like kind of not cope on that too much and just kind of very much focus on the mirror match and slower matchups. Like I use this against like Runic and stuff like that, where I just need like that little extra push and I know they're not going to kill me, so this stays on board longer. And Anti-Spell is just really broken for the fact that you know, they can go draw phase Wanton and all that, but there's going to be no access to like the Snake Eye original, no Fire King Island and stuff unless they commit to SP Little Knight. And if you can get them to SP Little Knight you and you're surviving, that pretty much just, it's not going to mean you win the game completely, but your win rate would increase like drastically if you're surviving the turn. So if you're able to survive the turn with this and then just baiting out SP with this, like I feel like you're in a really good spot. And then of course with like Baguska and all these, that's just really degenerate. So Baguska plus Anti-Spell and stuff like that. For our normal traps, for when we go first also, we just have these 3. DDG's probably the go-to most of the time. And then yeah, D-Barriers just like for Pearly and stuff like that because the deck's still really good. And Erad is I'm probably gonna switch this out for Magic Deflector. The Erad just kind of like too much of a hefty cost right now, and doesn't win you the game outright because all the monsters in the game that are good are like in the Snake Eyes package. They search spells, so it's not like in cash format where they just opened what they had and, you know, Unicorn was the only card that was going to give them access to another spell. So this card has just become a little bit worse. I think I'd rather just get Magic Deflector or use this over it. So I think I'm definitely going to make that switch because I am not really siding it in. Even with that Anti-Spell fragrance, I feel like it's just so much hate / prevention. So do want to have a little bit of diversification there. And then for the flex / going first / second cards, we have the 3 Droll, the 2 Bell, and the Ishizu Shufflers. So these are good. I mainly, these are always going to be good in like every matchup. And I typically side out like 2 transaction rollbacks and put these in when I'm going second. And maybe 1 if I'm going first, but lately I've just mainly been siding them going second. And then Bell's just kind of like for protecting yourself from DD Crow. It's good against Fire Kings and stuff like that. This card's just going to get better. It's good for the mirror. and then Drolls to stop decks like Vanadium, and yeah, this card's gonna get better too, possibly main deck worthy in the future, but so far I'm liking it in the side. Yeah, I just don't like the idea of people like draw phase playing, so yeah.
And the last card was Harpy's Feather Duster.
If you have any questions, comments, or feedback about like certain lines that I'm doing, yeah, just let me know. I'll be happy to answer you guys' questions, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And lastly, I just want to thank my friend Eduardo for gifting me 2 transaction rollbacks for a birthday. Shout outs to him. And yeah, that's it guys. Catch you next time.